All right, welcome. In this explainer, we're going to dive into control and coordination. We're going to explore the absolutely incredible systems that allow living things, from us to the plants in our gardens, to make sense of and react to the world around them.
So let's just jump right in with a situation I'm sure we've all experienced. You touch something super hot, like a stove, and your hand pulls back instantly. But here's the crazy part. You move before your brain even registers the feeling of pain. How on earth does that happen? Well, that little reaction tells us a whole lot about a high-speed command system working inside you.
The answer to that question is all about our body's amazing high-speed communication network. I'm talking about the nervous system. You can think of it like the body's electrical grid, sending messages flashing through you at unbelievable speeds. It's what makes those split-second reactions possible. And the basic building block of this entire network, the fundamental unit, is the neuron. Essentially, a neuron is like a single, highly specialized biological wire. Its whole job is to pass information from one place to another. So a nerve signal doesn't just wander around. It follows a very precise route. As you can see here, information like the signal for hot gets picked up at the dendrite. From there, it zips down the long axon as an electrical impulse. But look at step 3, the synapse. This is where things get really, really cool. To get to the next neuron, the signal has to cross a tiny gap, and it does that by briefly turning into a chemical message. Okay, the synapse is a huge concept, one you definitely want to remember. It's this microscopic gap between two nerve cells. The electrical signal can't just jump across, so it triggers the release of these chemical messengers that float over and start a new electrical signal in the next neuron. This chemical step is absolutely crucial because it's a point of control. The signal can be modified or even stopped right here. You know, our nervous system isn't a one-trick pony. It really operates in two main modes. You've got the super fast automatic mode for emergencies, and then you have the slower, more deliberate mode that requires actual thought. And here it is. This is exactly how the hot stove trick works. The signal for danger, too hot, travels from your skin not all the way to your brain, but just to your spinal cord. Your spinal cord immediately, without thinking, sends a command back to your muscles. Move! This shortcut is called the reflex arc, and it's all about speed. Your brain gets the news a moment later, which is when you finally feel the pain. So let's really break down the difference. The biggest thing to notice is the control center. As you can see in the table, reflex actions are involuntary, ridiculously fast, and handled by the spinal cord. Their whole purpose is protection. Voluntary actions, on the other hand, like deciding to pick up a book, are under your conscious control, they take more time, and they're managed by the brain. And speaking of the brain, this is the main command center for all those voluntary actions. It's the master coordinator. It takes in all the information from your senses, mashes it up with your memories and what you already know, and then makes a decision. Different parts handle different jobs, but the forebrain is really the main hub for all our thinking. Okay, we've been talking a lot about animals, nerves, brains, but hang on a second. What about plants? They don't have a nervous system. They don't have muscles. Yet, they definitely move. You've seen a plant lean towards a window, right? So how do they pull that off? This question opens up a whole different kind of control system. You might think plants are pretty static, just kind of sitting there. But in reality, they are constantly responding to what's going on around them. They just have their own unique and much slower way of coordinating everything. No nerves required. Now, some plant movements are actually surprisingly fast. Take the sensitive plant, for example. You touch its leaves and they fold up right away. This isn't the plant growing. It's actually changing the amount of water in its cells, which creates a kind of hydraulic movement. Pretty clever, right? Most of the time, though, plant movement is much slower because it's based on growth. And there's a key term for this you'll want to remember: tropism. Tropism is just the directional growth of a plant in response to something in its environment, like light or gravity. So when a plant grows towards sunlight, that's called phototropism. So how does the plant know which way to bend? It's all thanks to a chemical messenger, a plant hormone called auxin. When light hits the plant from one side, auxin builds up on the shady side of the stem. This extra auxin tells the cells on the shady side to grow longer and faster than the cells on the sunny side. And what happens when one side grows faster than the other? The whole stem bends right towards the light. And that idea of chemical messengers brings us right back to animals and our second major control system, the endocrine system. If the nervous system is the body's high-speed internet, sending direct messages, then the endocrine system is like its broadcast radio, sending out chemical messages, called hormones, through the bloodstream for any part of the body to pick up. Okay, picture this. A squirrel is just doing its thing and boom, a predator appears. The squirrel needs to get ready to either run for its life or fight back. A couple of quick nerve signals to the leg muscles isn't going to cut it. The entire body needs to get the memo, and it needs to get it now. This is where adrenaline comes in. That feeling of sudden fear causes the adrenal glands to pump adrenaline directly into the bloodstream. Think of adrenaline as the body's emergency broadcast system. It's a chemical alarm that tells multiple organs all at once to get ready for action. And the effects of adrenaline are pretty intense, as you can see. Your heart starts pounding to pump more blood, your breathing gets faster to bring in more oxygen, and blood flow gets rerouted away from things like digestion and straight to your major muscle groups. Your body is preparing for peak physical performance. It's the classic fight-or-flight response. Now, adrenaline comes from the adrenal glands, but it's just one player on a much bigger team. As you can see here, we have a whole system of these glands, the endocrine system, and each one produces different hormones that handle all sorts of long-term jobs in the body, like managing your growth, your metabolism, and even your mood. And there are lots of other really important hormones. For example, insulin. You've probably heard of that one. It's crucial for regulating your blood sugar. Thyroxine manages your overall metabolism, which is why having enough iodine in our salt is so important. And of course, growth hormone does, well, exactly what it says on the tin. It's a slower, steadier, but incredibly precise system of control. Okay, so we've explored these two amazing, powerful control systems in our bodies. You've got the nervous system and the endocrine system. So let's put them side by side and do a quick summary of how they work together. The takeaway here is really clear when you see it like this. The nervous system is all about speed. It uses electrical signals sent through neurons for super fast, targeted responses that don't last very long. The endocrine system, on the other hand, is slower. It uses chemical hormones in the bloodstream for widespread, long-lasting effects. One is like an email to a specific person, the other is like a company-wide announcement. So it's not a competition to see which system is better. They are a perfectly integrated team. They work together seamlessly, using the high-speed electrical grid for all the immediate emergencies and the chemical broadcast system for all the body's long-term projects and plans. And that wraps up our look at control and coordination. So the next time you react in a split second, or just watch a plant slowly turning to face the sun, you'll have a much deeper appreciation for the incredible command centers that are constantly at work, making it all happen. Thanks for joining me.